What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again on Wednesday. First big game slate of the whole NBA season. Super excited about it. A lot of different ways you can go with it, but I got 6 of my favorite plays on the slate. My money 6. So before we get going, like always, if you could drop a like in the video, would really appreciate that. Let's try to get over 100 likes on this one. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you happen to be new here, hit that sub button so you don't miss out on any more plays the remainder of the NBA season. Let's hop right into it. I'm going to go with LUKA DONCIC first up at 9,400. Really good matchup against Washington. Defense last year, very bad. Lineup isn't that much different, and they played a pretty fast pace, a pretty fast-paced lineup that doesn't play much defense. It's always going to be a good spot for the opposing number one scorer. Added Porzingis to the lineup this year. Could add some more assist potential to Doncic when he's able to hit a good player like Porzingis, as he will be the second option who Doncic should be passing the ball to the most, I would assume, this year. So that kind of adds some assist upside to him. He's already a good rebounder, can score, played very well against Washington last year in 2 games, 50 DraftKings points on average, as you always like to see Doncic in a little bit of a pace uptick, and against a worse defense, obviously. So at 9,400 here, a guy that can fill it up in every category, can flirt with a triple-double any given night. I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my first guy. Then I'm going to go with Andre Drummond, one of the easiest calls, I think, of the night. He probably should be pretty chalky with Blake Griffin being out for tonight. Whenever Blake Griffin was out last year, Andre Drummond just had immense upside, could fill it up, and it didn't really matter the matchup, because like whenever he's facing someone without Blake Griffin, it seems like his opportunity and just his shot total is just gonna back him into like almost a 20-20 every given night, because he's putting up more shots. So that means he can get his own misses. A lot of the times when Drummond is putting up those big numbers, like he'll shoot a layup, miss it, get his own rebound, sometimes miss it again, and then get another rebound. So he's getting like 2 rebounds and 2 points like any given trip that they're on the offensive end. That's kind of how Drummond is like a master of DFS. Just kind of gets huge rebound totals just on like one possession. He can get like 4 straight rebounds. So crazy stuff. Played pretty damn well against Indiana last year, 4 games. Shot over 50%, average of 21 and 16, good for 54 DraftKings points. So I think he honestly can get us over 50 DK points at a nice price tag at 8,400. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my second guy. Obviously, I don't think they priced him as Blake Griffin was going to be out, because the news was pretty recent. But for my third guy, I'm going to go with Marvin Bagley here at 7,200. A really good game flow here in Phoenix between 2 high-scoring, faster-paced teams. I think Marvin Bagley is going to take another step this year. He looked really promising in his rookie season, and this kind of matchup favors a situation for Bagley where I could see the Kings kind of go a little bit maybe more small here, having Bagley at the 5, and also Dedmon, their new center, isn't really a guy that will be like a huge like down low rebounder type. So I think similar to what we saw in Atlanta last year with Dedmon in the starting lineup, where John Collins is putting up monster lines. I feel like Bagley can kind of play that same role in the offense as Collins was, where he was able to have those double-doubles on a nightly basis, where Bagley can kind of do that same kind of thing, as he'll be the one operating more in the paint. Dedmon kind of will be spreading the court more, as he can be a center that kind of sits on the three-point line, and Bagley goes to work down low against this Phoenix weak defense. So I think it's 7,200 in this good matchup. Should be getting more run this year. Only averaged around 30 minutes per game last year. I would expect him to see an uptick in those minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my third guy. Then I'm going to go with Robert Covington. This Timberwolves lineup is a little bit interesting. They lost Derrick Rose, who was a pretty good scorer for them. So the lineup sits at Jeff Teague, Wiggins, Cat. They still have that core 3. And Covington is the guy coming in to be probably the 4th or even maybe the 3rd option on some given night. So 5,400 here. Pretty solid matchup against Brooklyn. Taurean Prince at power forward for Minnesota. I think that's a pretty favorable matchup. Taurean Prince, not known for his defense. And I think Robert Covington could have a pretty underrated kind of season here. As Wiggins, we know, can be very up and down. Jeff Teague, not really a natural scorer, kind of more of a facilitator, I would say. And he can chip in as like the third, maybe fourth option some nights. But I think Robert Covington's an underrated player, a solid shooter, and he should be able to get some more rebounds this year because he's going to be playing at the power forward, likely at least to start out this year. And we saw in a preseason game, he actually got 19 rebounds. So, I mean, I think the rebounds are bound to go up with him playing power forward. Can get a few more looks without a guy like Derrick Rose, who's kind of a big part of their offense for when he was playing. And at 5,400 here, it's a solid price tag for a guy that can put up maybe close to like 7 rebounds and can get us over 10 points and then chip in on the defensive end. He can put up some defensive stats as well, whether it be blocks or steals. Pretty solid defender. And like I said, it's a good matchup against Taurean Prince. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there. Oops. As my fourth guy. I don't know what was trying to come up there. But my fifth guy, I'm going to go with Tyler HERRO. Hopefully he can be our hero of the night and make us a ton of money at 50. Why am I saying 50? 4,800 against the Memphis Grizzlies, his NBA debut. It's going to be Dion Waiters suspended for tonight, so that's really the reason why I'm looking at Tyler HERRO. He might start this game. If he doesn't start, then maybe I'll pivot or not beyond Tyler HERRO the same amount, obviously. But if he does start, I think he can get around 30 minutes. He looked very promising in the Summer League and in the preseason. He was just wet every time he stepped on the court, cashing threes. And I liked him coming at the NBA. I feel like he'd be a good fit in today's three-point shooting and small ball kind of stuff. And at 4,800 here, without Dion Waiters, like I said, the depth will take a little bit of a hit with that, with HERRO stepping into the starting lineup. So I think he can definitely be a good value play with the minutes uptick without Waiters. And Miami Heat scoring isn't that great outside Jimmy Butler. Honestly, Dragic is solid, but like outside of that, I think Tyler HERRO could be an underrated part of the Miami Heat this year. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my fifth guy. So that's the core kind of 5 there. Not crazy upside, but I think we have really good potential value when it comes to Andre Drummond, Covington, HERRO, even DONCIC could get over 50. So for my value guy, though, I'm going to go with Dennis Schroeder here at 4,100. This is kind of me attacking a potential blowout here tonight, as Vegas thinks so themselves. Utah Jazz, they're around like 11-point favorites. And Dennis Schroeder, if that is the case, if they get down big in this game, then they're going to pivot to Dennis Schroeder. We already saw at the beginning of this preseason where they're arresting Chris Paul. So, I mean, if any game kind of gets out of whack where they're down a good amount, then they'll just go to Dennis Schroeder. I think there's no reason to overwork Chris Paul. I mean, it's hard to say that they'll keep Chris Paul the whole entire year. So, I mean, I don't think they're attached to the hip to Chris Paul. They're probably looking forward to younger guys. So, Dennis Schroeder, I think, like I said, if the game gets out of hand, there's no reason to keeping Chris Paul, as he's an older guy. He always likes to be kind of rested when it matters, it seems like. I don't know, but Dennis Schroeder at 4,100, more minutes and a potential blowout. Utah Jazz are a pretty damn solid team. They're always very good at home. And like I said, the Thunder is obviously not the same team without Paul George, without Russell Westbrook, and with Chris Paul and Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't know if they can keep up with this Utah Jazz team, and neither does Vegas. So 4,100, Dennis Schroeder, always a guy when he gets more minutes, can fill it up. And I think he can get over 20 minutes in this potential blowout. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my final guy. So you got LUKA Doncic, Tyler HERRO, Robert Covington, Marvin Bagley, Andre Drummond, and Dennis Schroeder. Hope you enjoyed it. Slap a like in the video before you head out. If you did, over 100 likes is the goal. Let's hit that. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel. Like I said, if you're not subbed yet, hit the bell icon to get alerted every time I upload after you subscribe. Good luck here tonight. Hope you guys won a ton of money. You can follow me on Twitter at MoneyWebby if I have to update any pick. And we'll see you back here again next time.